What's up, friends? You don't believe it? I don't believe it myself. Before we dive into the spreadsheet that shows you the $600,000 portfolio, special announcement for everyone. I actually quit my 9-to-5 job. Don't celebrate too crazy yet. I'm actually starting another job as an NFT analyst. I wasn't quite ready to make the jump personally just to go on my own completely yet. So I'm super excited to be joining a super cool group that talks about cryptos, that talk about NFTs, more to come, so stay subscribed. What's going to happen in the channel? Well, it's still going to be here. We're still going to talk all things NFTs. In fact, there's going to be more value because we're going to have a ton of resources, tools, analytics, more intelligence, aka alpha for you guys. To celebrate, we're going to give away NFTs. So comment and subscribe to be chosen as one of the winners. Most likely Solana or VV because Ethereum is just way too expensive to give out NFTs. How do we get to a $600,000 valuation? Well, I must have showed you guys my previous spreadsheet, which is usually just my own allocations. And what this is just a total of not only me, the wifey, but also a couple of pools that I run and organize. Only 2 other pools alongside me and the wifey. And together, that's a whopping 600,000. I never thought of it that way because I always separated it. But since I'm managing it all, it makes sense to see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is pretty crazy. And that valuation is at today's Ethereum price, which is actually really low because of the crypto crash, crypto winter, and also because NFTs are low as well. So I'm not going to go over how we got here because you just check out all my YouTube videos. I document every single purchase I make anyways. And this is not an endorsement to buy projects that I have on my list. There's tons of other projects that are doing way better than the ones I have here. This is just the allocations and the purchases that I've made. Personally, I'm all in. I'm not telling you to be all in. You know, I sold all my Bitcoin a couple of videos ago to be all in NFTs. And a couple of purchases that we made this year that are pretty big is Clone X. We got a Lime Gang Clone X that got us another monolith. So pretty much we got a slight discount because we got a $15,000 airdrop on that with more airdrops to come. Fly Fish Club, I'm going to a yacht party in 2 days. Hopefully Gary V is going to be there. That's one of the biggest purchases I made as well. But profit-wise, it's been one of the biggest gainers as well. There was actually a sale today of 13.4 ETH, so people are buying at these levels. Another big thing I'm investing into is f.I.r.e because of the up-and-coming f.I.r.e world. And profit-wise, you know, potentially it is there. There are purchases of f.I.r.e paintings every single day on OpenSea, so these 4 prices are pretty accurate. Going back to my personal allocations, another thing I'm all in on is VV. I put $8,000 into VV. I bought the gems at 20% off of a good friend, and I put it into Golden Moments. I had to put my money where my mouth is because I made 2 videos about how I was gonna go in on VV and I never did. I only had 110 bucks that turned into like $26,000. But now I'm actually putting more money in so I can get all the things that I want in there. Of course, it's not financial advice. I just want to let you know that I'm all in on the blue chips, and blue chips to me are VV, Clone X, Fly Fish Club. Definitely want a Bored Ape Yacht Club. I definitely want a Azuki. I definitely want a Super Gucci. I'm going to talk about that on the next step of what I'm going to do in terms of investing. The next thing I'm going to be doing is what I call value investing. I'm putting in more liquidity into NFTs because we have a lot of assets that, you know, to me is not leverageable, but it's backed, meaning that we can de-risk ourselves very easily. If things drop 30, 40, even 50%, we would still have all our risk capital there because we're up a whopping 400%. So when you see this number here, 600,000, and then you go over here, you see the profit margin if we sold everything today and if everyone bought, right? And of course, there's fees as well. So just take another 10% off of this thing. It's still a good amount of money, up close to, you know, 400%. Divide that by 3 to 4 people, that's still $300,000 to $400,000 a person. Not gonna lie, that is, you know, life-changing for a lot of people, life-changing even for myself. But living up here in the Bay Area where a lot of my friends are investing, that won't even get you an extra bathroom because you can't even put a down payment on a house with that amount of money. I know, first world problems in Crimea River. What we're looking to do is catapult the 600,000 to, you know, possibly $6 million. There's a very famous NFT collector named Whale Shark on NFT Land. He famously quoted how his non-PFP NFT collection has gone from, you know, a very small amount to over $100 million. Hopefully we can follow in his footsteps. I wouldn't, you know, dictate your moves based on what I'm doing or what he's doing, but there's definitely precedence there. Everyone has a different risk appetite. Everyone is different financially at their point in life right now. Personally, for me, a couple of months ago, I couldn't even afford to get into, you know, one NFT project that's, you know, 4 figures, 5 figures. I thought that was insane. So I had to go with a couple of friends. Fast forward 6 months later, we're doing these types of purchases probably every other week. And it's because we're backed by, assets that has value. If our portfolio dropped 50%, 60%, we would still have our risk capital all there. So it'll be a loss, but it's not gargantuous for us. That's why when you look at things like this, don't copy the moves that I'm doing. Do what makes sense for you with your risk tolerance. With that said, I'm going to start doing what I call value investing. And there's probably another phrase for it, which is just making bids on projects that I know are pretty prominent, that could be potential blue chip. In my mind, Super Gucci, definitely one of those, because they're a collab with Super Plastic, which has a really good name in NFT world. And Gucci, of course, we know in the real world, they're pretty prominent. And they have 3 or 2 more launches. So they launched their first one. It was sitting at 16 ETH floor, which is pretty redonkulous, and it's dropped 10 ETH since that time. I think people started realizing that they're just paying insane amounts. And I think a good purchase price, like these guys making bids here, is about 4 to 5 ETH. So I'm gonna throw out some feelers out there and see if anyone bites, because right now crypto's crashing and people need some money, and that's when value investing to me comes into play, and I could come in here and get some really good deals. Another thing I'll be looking at is Suzuki. Now here's a great example, because Gucci has a great name. Gucci's gonna have 2 more drops that we know that could give you physical products. So even in the real world, you can offset your costs in that way. Azuki, I don't know much about the roadmap, but as a value investor, I know that it has done historic numbers, like top 7 of all time, right behind Artifact, might even flip Artifact for all we know, and sitting at 90 floor price. So as value investor, probably 30%, you shave 30% off the top. If I could get something for 6 ETH, that's a good play. Very, very good play. That's for today's price. 2-3 weeks from now, if the floor keeps on, fluctuating, then that would be a different price point. Here's a good example of what I'll be doing with other projects that have staying power. To me, Fly Fish Club definitely has that, with the backing of Gary Vee, an actual restaurant that gives you actual leasing rights and you can make money in perpetuity. If you take a look here, there's a pretty good distinction from the floor price of 4 to 4.3, 4.4. And if you take a look at the activity, they're selling every single day, right? Every single hour almost. And none of it has hit 4. This to me is a good example of value, because it's about 10% off the floor price. Now for the next one, if it dips even below that, even better. If it gets to 20-30%, if I make some offers out here at about 3.5 for a quick buy, some people might click on that, and to me that's valuable, because I have immediate upside, and not only that, I don't mind holding it for the long term. It's like doing a call option on Apple. I don't know much about call options, but if you have to own it at the end of the day and you like Apple anyways, it's a win. If you notice, most of my value investing is in projects that are really prominent, have good activity, probably like top 50 of all time. World of Woman is definitely one of those that I missed out on completely, and to me this is low. It is ran by the same person who runs Base C. A value play here would be about 6 ETH, so I will throw out some offers and see if there's any bites at all. We talked about going all in, we talked about value investing. The question is, when do we get out and enjoy the fruits of our labor? I'd like to state Whale Shark, because he makes some really good points, because he manages a $100 million fund, and he said that he's not interested in selling when there's no value that is established yet. So value is not yet established, even though it seems like it has been, right? But we're so early in the NFT stage. Coinbase has not opened up their marketplace to 2.5 million users. This is probably the first huge cycle of NFTs. We know Bitcoin's been through a ton of them, and we don't know what we don't know yet. We don't know what new utility is going to come out with all the projects that I've talked about. It's only the beginning, as crazy as that sounds. So we are very early days. So if you don't need the money, invest into only things that you really believe in. But if you do need to flip out and get into more prominent projects, then definitely do that. If I didn't feel a close, tie in terms of utility and value with the projects that I am, then I would definitely get out of those. And in fact, I'm getting out of a lot of little smaller projects and getting more into the blue chips myself. I'm all in, I'm doing more value purchases. So when do we leave, right? So you see here that I took some L's on things that, I don't make money on. And just looking at the ETH valuation of that, I can clear out like 2 ETH out of those. And rather than waiting for those things to come up, I could put it into something that could 3 to 4x and bring that valuation back up for me, turn the L into a W, right? I'm going to be documenting more of that upcoming. I can't just show you, the big wins. I got to show you the process as well. It doesn't mean I'm going to pick everything right or not to follow my picks at all, but definitely there are, moves that we need to make on some of the things that aren't gaining traction. Looking at my portfolio, I can already see 3 things that I want to get out of completely, Wax being one of them. UFC, I sold them all. NFL all day. The marketplace just opened up. I spent $1,000 on packs, and my valuation is only like $1,200. Now, I didn't really spend $1,000 because I didn't put in any money. It was all dapper credits that I had. That's why you see the spend there is only $1 because I never put in money there. However, $1,200 market value off $1,000, Dapper credit spend is not that great. I'd rather spend that elsewhere on another prominent project. Suitable is another one where I'm waiting for the marketplace to open up. I don't know what utility it's going to have, but that's another one that I potentially might be moving on from soon as well. There you guys have it. It is quick and simple. I just want to give you a peek under the hood and what I'm doing. Let me know your thoughts, what you're getting into, some alpha that you may have. Stay on the journey because I'm going to see if we can turn that 600,000 to $6 million, possibly even $60 million. That'll be absolutely amazing if and when that happens. We did this in 6 months time. So, we could definitely, 6X from here. Fine. I'll tame it a little bit. 6X, because we went 6X, our initial investment from, August. So maybe 6X from here, 6 to 10X from here. That'd be, $3.5 million. That'll be super exciting. Or we'll all be working at McDonald's along with everyone else. You might see me there. But however, there are McDonald's meatless options now. I'm a vegan. They have Beyond Burgers there. Silver lining. Thank you guys for hanging with me today. I have a lot more coming for you guys. So make sure you subscribe. Stay healthy. Stay fired. Peace.